welcome my TN friends. I'm right here with In the Now magazine, sitting with
Jake from New Medicine.
All right. I appreciate you taking the time today to go ahead and talk with us. So, first of all, you guys are currently on tour with Hailstorm. How's that going?
It's been pretty badass the whole way. I mean, every show, it seems like it keeps getting ramping up and getting better and better and better. Now we've hit our stride in the last, I think, 3 or 4 shows have been sold out, and huge numbers, and it's been great.
Great exposure for you guys, huh?
Oh yeah, man. The other night we played in Lancaster, and it was like almost 4,000 people, and it was insane, and we were selling out CDs, and it's been crazy. And our Facebook and Twitter's blowing up now. It's pretty cool. So it's a good experience.
Thanks to Hailstorm for bringing you on board.
Yeah, thanks to Lizzie and the guys, man. They've been awesome to us, good friends of ours.
That's great, that's great. So you guys had a new record just come out in August, Breaking the Model. So kind of tell us about that, kind of the writing process and how that takes place. And
right, well yeah, we went into this record, it was our sophomore record, and we just wanted to do something kind of different. And so the whole mission statement behind Breaking the Model is just kind of like doing something a little bit outside of the normal and not worrying about any formula or any specific way to go and hey, let's make it sound like this or like that. We're just like, let's just make something that we think is cool. And so that's what we did, and we went and tweaked out songs. I wrote all the songs in the band and I bring them to the band, but then we got in the studio with our producer and he just kind of tore them all apart and put it back together, and then made sure everything that's on there was great, and it turned out really great. We loved and we're proud of what we did.
Excellent. So tell us about your producer, who you're working with.
We're working with a guy, his name's Kevin Kadish, and he's at a place in Nashville. We've been living in Nashville for the last year and a half, and he's killer. He's famous right now for the big pop song, All About That Bass. He wrote this year. Everybody knows that song.
Right.
And he wrote that and produced that song, so that's his big thing this year, but he produced our record before that. And the cool thing was is that he's really a rock guy at heart. He's really, he grew up playing guitar, listening to metal and rock and stuff. He just happened to have written, some other songs, but he's got such good musical instincts that it doesn't matter what genre he's producing. He produces country, rock, metal, punk, anything, and he's great at it. And so for us, it was just, his big focus was making sure that the arrangements were right and the songs were right, and they came off like they're supposed to. And he said right away at the beginning, I don't want 1 second of this record to go by and you guys don't love it. If there's like 5 seconds of the record where a part happens and you don't like that part, tell me and we'll fix it. So we made the record that we really love.
Well, that's great. It sounds like a collaboration, and it wasn't just the producer saying, "Here's how it's going to go."
No, yeah.
Together.
It was definitely us together working it out. It was cool.
Excellent. So, was that the first? Obviously, this is your sophomore record. Did you work with him on the debut?
He did one song. He did a song, "Rich Kids," on our first record, and it became like kind of like a viral hit for us on YouTube and stuff. And then at the shows, people always were singing the words of that song. It just kind of was like a weird viral hit because it was the song's about growing up around rich kids and stuff where I came from, and I was always like the middle class kids, always having to work 2 jobs and that kind of thing. And so I wrote a song about the rich kids. And anyways, but it just kind of became like a viral thing. So everyone loved that, and I've been writing with him a ton, so it just made sense to have it to produce the record.
Great. Sounds like a real good relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't like nobody forced it on me. I actually brought it up to the label because they didn't send us a couple other people that didn't mind, but I was like, man, I really think me and Kevin and the guys would make a great record. Let's just go this way. So.
Great. So speaking of the label, Photo Finish Records.
Right. Well, actually now we're with Imagine Records.
Okay, so you guys have moved on from those guys.
Yep. So we moved on from Photo Finish, but those guys actually were from this area. The guys from Photo Finish.
Oh, where are they?
They're from Massachusetts. They're from Boston. Yeah.
Okay.
The guys that signed us originally, but we moved on from them. They moved the company to Island Records, and it was kind of like a weird situation contractually we were at Atlantic and Photo Finish, and they moved Photo Finish to Island, but we were still kind of technically with Atlantic. And anyways, we ended up just kind of parting ways and getting a clean slate, and now we're signed with Imagine Records, and Morgan Rose from Seven Dust, the drummer, he's our A&R guy at our label, so he's the one who kind of signed us to this label, and it's cool. It's more independent, but we have it has an infrastructure as well of so we get the distribution, but as far as on the creative side, it's all independent. We kind of get our own way of doing whatever we want.
Well, and that's fantastic. Obviously, in this day and age, a lot of times they kind of dictate your direction, whereas you can be creative as an artist.
When you're A&R guys, Morgan from Seven Dust, you know, he knows what's up with being in a band, so we can talk about this and that, and he gets it, and he knows what it's like to be in the band situation, and I will tell him what to do. So he likes to be like, hey, well, what do you guys want to do, you know? And that's cool for us, you know? So,
sounds like a great situation.
It's been great so far.
How long have you been with them for?
Since about a year, almost a year now. So we recorded the record like a year ago. So.
Excellent, excellent. So why don't you kind of bring us through the history of the band? People that don't know New Medicine out there, kind of tell them about the history and how you guys came to be.
Yeah, when we started, Dan and I started in high school like 07, 06. Actually, 06. We were in high school together, and we're like, man, we should really start a band. And so just started in school. We started writing songs together and hanging out, and then we put a band together and played in that band for a while. And we got going pretty good around the local scene and had some labels interested. And then finally that band was kind of falling apart. People getting, you know, butt heads with people and stuff. And we were like, all right, well, let's start something new and let's really go for it. And so we recruited a couple of our favorite players from Minneapolis, and we made New Medicine in like 09, and that's when we really all said, bam, we're gonna deal, and started going on tour, and the rest is kind of history from there. We've been on the road ever since, it seems like.
Now you guys have had a few lineup changes, is that right?
Yeah, we had our bass player and drummer on this cycle. We switched out. It was like a total amicable. 3-year-old bass player wanted to move to Africa and go like help people with that, and so we told him to support him in that. And Ryan has like 5 bands, and he just wanted to start. You know, he has a couple more of his own, and he really wanted to focus on those and writing. And he's a producer. He wanted to do recording and stuff, and it's hard to do that, and the touring schedule is so demanding. So he actually came out a couple weeks ago and hung out on the tour for a few days because we're still totally friends. So, but we recruited Dylan Wood from the band Emphatic, and he's a killer drummer. He's only 21, but his YouTube videos got millions of views, and he's a killer drummer, and brought him on drums. So we think we've already just stepped it up actually, and we brought this guy Kyle Long in, and on bass, another friend from the circuit of touring. So kind of just the more you do this, you know, so many guys out there playing, we got to bring in some more people we do, so it's cool. It worked out.
Well, it's nice. There's no horror stories behind it.
No, it's not we just stabbed me in the back and we're fighting over this. It was just like, you know what, hey, we're going to go to this and you're going to do that. It's fine. And it's cool because we got these guys in before. We actually did some shows with these guys before we even started recording the record. So we had played live with them already, and we kind of had some chemistry, and we knew it was going to work. And so when we went to the studio, they played on the record as well. So it's cool because they are part of this. It's like this is their record as well. You know?
That's great. That's great. So do you recall, kind of stepping back a little bit, I guess as a band, New Medicine, the first show that you guys played together?
This band, or
New Medicine.
Right. Well, I remember the first show ever of New Medicine was in Johnson City, Tennessee, and our drummer had gotten scratched by his cat. His cat bit him really, really hard, and got the saliva in his blood.
Really?
It's really bad for you, and you get the cat scratch fever. It's it's a real thing. And he got death. Like, he was like, they had to go to the hospital. His arm was like this big, and he's like, dude, I can't make the first show. And I'm like, what?
Oh no!
How are we gonna do it? I'm like, we got the t-shirts and everything was sent to the first show. Everything was ready to go. And so I played drums, and I knew the songs pretty well just in my head, you know. And so I ended up, I canceled the show. I'll play drums. So we did 3-piece. I ended up playing drums the whole thing and singing. I had a mic right here. I was like, you know, Phil Collins or something. You know? So it was kind of wild, the first show, but that was our first show ever as New Medicine.
Well, if you can make it through that, you can make it through that.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now you guys have toured with some pretty high-profile bands. Avenged Sevenfold. I think you had Stone Sour.
Shine Down, tons of bands. I mean, obviously, Hailstorm, Lunch, Hollywood Undead. We toured with Scherer a bunch of times, Spirit of the Dead Man. It's been wild, you know, all these heroes you have growing up, hearing them on the radio, and all of a sudden you're like hanging out in the dressing room, drinking beer with them. It's kind of surreal, but it's cool, you know.
How does that work? Like, so these guys ask you to come on tour with you,
right?
You know, and you get on stage. Do you get nervous? Like, oh my goodness, I'm opening up for Avenged Sevenfold. You know?
I mean, yeah. The funny thing about that was when Dan and I, when I told you we were starting a band in high school, we went out to LA and we were out there trying to we were thinking about moving out there, and we went there. They were having to be playing the Gibson Amphitheater, so we bought tickets and we went and we had somehow it was sold out. We somehow got some tickets. We scalped them. and went and watched the show, and we were like, wow, that was so badass. Like, this is right when Stevie came out, and they were just on top of the world. We were like, we gotta do that, man. We gotta be in a band. We gotta do this. 5 years later, we were in the dressing room at an arena, opening up for them, and they walked into our dressing room, and we're like, dude, we love your record, man. And we were like, what?
You know our record?
And I was like, you know, right? Like, yeah, Little Sister, that's my favorite song, dude. And I'm like, what? He's like, that guitar part is tricky. How do you do that? And I'm like, it just was like a full circle. Like, I was like watching you guys 5 years ago. Now I'm playing with you guys. It's pretty cool.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's like a full circle.
You know, so hey, kids out there, if you're out there watching your favorite band, you can be playing right next to them.
Absolutely.
That's great. So, do you recall your biggest show and your most memorable show? Are they the same or different?
Actually, well, there's one, I don't know if it was technically the biggest. We played Rockfest in Kansas City once, which was like 55,000, which was probably the most attended show. I don't know how many were, there's 2 stages, and you know, you can see the main stage from, there's 2 stages, you can see both stages, but, you know, I don't know how many were actually out. So that was probably the biggest, but one of the most memorable ones was when we were playing, it's called Laser Fest in Iowa, in Des Moines, it's right outside Des Moines, Iowa, and we're like, okay, whatever, Laser Fest. We show up, and it was like 10 bands, there's 2 stages right next to each other, and we were playing like second or third. I don't know how we got on the bill. We had just started, you know, we just got signed, and we just, you know, somehow our label had said, oh yeah, this is a new band, and the radio guy was like, oh, I like this band, let's throw them on there, throw them in the mix. We got some spot, we were like second or third on the one stage, and there's 25,000 people, and it was sold out. They had like gates, and it was just, I mean, as far as I could see people. But I was like, we're just getting, they're like, okay, you guys ready to go up? So we load our gear up, and I'm messing with my stuff, and we had some problem with the mic, wasn't working. I'm like, check. And there's like, I'm like going, digging, and trying to fix the chord, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, we're good, we got it. You guys are on. And all of a sudden I turned around and looked, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, there's so many people, and I just looked at the guys, and I'm like, all right, let's have fun. And we just turned around and hit the first chord, and for some reason it was just one of those shows that everything just clicked, and the crowd was going nuts. And we still get people being like, man, I saw you guys at Laser Fest that one year, that was so awesome. And so that was one of the most memorable shows for us.
That's great, you can pull that off without like flaking.
Yeah, it was one of the most adrenaline like rushes of my whole life. It was just awesome, like, whoa, all right, we're doing this.
Let's go.
You know, and then we played a lot of big shows since that. 10,000, 5,000, tons of those, you know. But those first ones were like so, you know, you're like, you never have done that before, so it's pretty cool.
So sitting here right now, do you get anxiety like before a show?
I think, yeah, I get a little bit. I get excited. I mean, I don't get like so nervous or anything, but like I get excited about like, you know, the hour countdown before the show. I start going, all right, and then 30 minutes, and then it starts getting, okay, we're changing over, we're getting ready to put my ears in, and then it's kind of like a ritual, and just kind of getting pumped up, and then those couple minutes before, that's when I kind of start getting the butterflies. I'm like, let's do this, let's go, hopefully we kill it, and then, you know, once the gig's going, it's just like, it's kind of like, you know, I'm
kind of like a blur, maybe.
Yeah, it is kind of like a blur. You know, it's like, it's basically like the feeling is like you just jump on this train that's not stopping. It's like once you start, it's going, you're going until the end. You know what I mean? Like there's no like, hey, I want to take a break now. It's like, no, you're going. You're out there, it's live, there's no redos, it's just right there, you know?
Most of us can only imagine that. So that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know New Medicine, why don't you kind of describe your live show?
Right. Well, we're kind of balls in the walls. We try to keep it as much energetic as possible. So it's a very fun. We just try to keep everybody, you know, involved in the show and not just like, you know, not all just sitting there talking and stuff the whole time. But it's like we just try to keep people having fun the whole time, and we try to keep the set where it takes you. Not every song is going to sound exactly the same. It's not like we're just playing at you. So there's a couple songs we'll take it down for a second, but then we'll bring it back up, and it's just a high energy, fun show. It's just meant to like enjoy and to rock too. You know, it's a rock show. You know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, certainly get your you know, your money's worth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'll get your drinks. It seems like they go down faster when you're listening to us.
Just a big party.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I love it. So actually, that kind of brings me back to your single, "One Too Many."
Right. Yep.
So was that written based upon personal experience, maybe?
Definitely. I mean, I think everyone's had that point where you think, oh man, I think I had one too many last night, and I heard that title, and I thought, man, that's the title of the song. And I thought, and then it's just kind of like the whole idea of there's so many instances in your life where you got like, man, I had one too many drink, whatever. There's so many different things you can have one too many of. Even like, hey, you're at the dinner table and you have one too many, whatever, pieces of bread. You're, oh man, I'm full. It's just kind of like that whole going across the line. You know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of like what life's about. You never know what's on the other side until you go there. So
a great song. I was listening to it earlier, and I really enjoyed the song. So that kind of brings me to the next question about influences. Now, I'm going to take a stab, but I'm probably way off. I don't know. I heard some like kind of White Stripes and some Fall Out Boy, and maybe some different stuff, and maybe I'm way off the mark. But give us some
like White Stripes were one of my big influences back in when they first came out. I loved that band. I loved all that stuff. It was totally cool. And big Rage Against the Machine, Beastie Boys, and Nirvana. I was huge into Nirvana. Tons of stuff like that. Soundgarden. I'm just into kind of a lot of stuff. Tom Petty's one of my favorite songwriters.
Nice.
So I'm kind of just an all-American rock kid. I just grew up listening to. My dad used to listen to lyrics in kindergarten, so I grew up listening to. So.
Freebird, right?
Absolutely, man. So I'm kind of a guitar guy, just a rock dude. You know what I mean? So Led Zeppelin and all that stuff.
So tell us about the future plans for New Medicine. Obviously, you're on tour now. So the plan is to obviously finish up this tour. Any plans to maybe head over to Europe, some of the festivals over there?
Absolutely. We're going to try to do some of the spring festivals next year, and we're going to do some more touring in the States. We're going to do a headline run and then maybe another support run as well. But we're going to do a new video for next single and put another single out next year and go. We definitely want to go to Europe, and we have so many people every day be like, you can see our streaming numbers too come in and like, man, 80,000 people streamed in Sweden today, or all this stuff, and it's kind of like, we gotta get over there. So we're gonna get over there this spring, hopefully.
So you haven't toured Europe yet?
Not yet.
I've done many festivals over in Europe. Let me tell you, you guys would fit right in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good fit for you.
Hell yeah. That's why everybody says it's like rock is still very alive over there.
Rock is huge over there. So you'll love it.
Hell yeah.
So hook that up.
Hell yeah.
So let me ask you, there were two bands, and I'm going to say alive today, that you could tour with. Who would it be?
They have to be alive today. Okay.
They have to be alive today.
Alright, okay. Well, I'd love to tour with the Foo Fighters. That's one of the bands. Obviously, they're one of my favorite bands. Maybe even a band like Muse. I love Muse. I think they're so cool and they're so weird and different. And they're huge over in Europe.
They were actually headlining Download Festival this year.
Yeah, they're awesome. I saw them last year and I was like, wow, that band knows how to put on a show.
The show was amazing.
It's incredible.
That's a spectacle.
I love that band, so I'd love to tour with them. That'd be awesome.
Excellent. So, well, I tell you what, is there anything out there you want to tell the fans?
I just, thanks for listening, and we'll be back out there. We'll be on the road somewhere. We'll catch you somewhere. Europe, here, the States, we're never stopping, so.
All over the place. Keep an eye out. So, and one final thing. Tell them where they can find Breaking the Model.
You can get on iTunes, on Amazon, anywhere online, and you can get it to your local record stores as well. And our Twitter is just @New Medicine, and Facebook /New Medicine, and mine is Jake Meds, and come check it out.
Excellent. Well, be sure to check out Breaking the Model by New Medicine. And they're on tour right now with Hailstorm, so keep your eye out. Definitely check these guys out.
Awesome.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Hey, I'm Jake from New Medicine, and if you're not in the now, then you're in the nothing.